Good morning, everybody. So glad there's a mic so you guys can hear me. Well, I'm so glad to be here and have see all these new faces. So thank you for having me. You know, I think that a lot of us are familiar with my opponent, probably. You've probably heard the news this week. She has been permanently removed from Twitter. But I have a sneaking suspicion that she's not going to stop her misinformation. So we're going to have to fight to remove her. So I'm Holly McCormack, and I'm the Democrat that's going to unseat Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I'm a mom of 2 teenagers and a small business owner and a wife, of course, from Ringgold, Georgia. Like Matthew just said, up at the very top of the district. So I've been there. My family's been in North Georgia for generations. I've raised my kids there. They're in our public schools in Ringgold, and I've built my business there. So I know this area very well. I was an Army brat when I was young, so of course we traveled around a lot, but we came back to Georgia when Daddy was discharged. So Northwest Georgia is my home. When I saw that she got elected, and is not from there, by the way, it was my mission. I had to join to unseat her, because this is not how we act. This is not the people of Northwest Georgia. So that's why I jumped in. After January 6th, I had been kicking it around once she was elected. But when January 6th happened, I knew I had to enter to unseat her. Now, when my son was young, we had to work opposite shifts. My husband Shane and I had to work opposite shifts for 5 years because childcare was so out of reach. And I'm not alone. That is the case with a lot of families. And that's not a way to have a happy marriage for 5 years, I promise. So, I mean, a lot of our district is a childcare desert. How can we, as women or stay-at-home dads, contribute to our economy if we can't afford for our kids to be in childcare? That's a big part of my rural revival plan, and I'm going to tell you a couple other points as well. One part is affordable internet. We've all had to, or a lot of us had to move our businesses at home and become now on Zoom. My kids were doing digital school 100%, like so many. Are there any teachers in the room? Woo! Praise the Lord, thank you. Oh my goodness, after the vaccines came out, and luckily my kids are old enough to get them, I was so glad to send them back to you. Dear Lord. But, you know, I had to run an extra line to my house because it wouldn't support 2 kids doing school plus my business on Zoom. And most people can't afford to do that, and they shouldn't have to. So affordable internet is a big part of my rural revival plan. You know, that touches everything. That touches education. That touches being able to attract businesses and have growth where in our district. So I come from an Army family, like I told you. I've got many veterans in my family, and something that, if we have veterans in the room, that you might be familiar with is how hard it is to get care as a veteran or to keep track of your records. Up where I live, there's not a veterans hospital nearby, so they have to travel a long way, or their family has to take them to get their doctor's appointments. Healthcare has been out of reach for a lot of people in Georgia. As a small business owner, I have been without insurance for many years. And I know that struggle that I have to choose between, can I go to the doctor? Am I sick enough to deserve to go to the doctor? Or can I pay a bill? Or can I keep food on the table? This is a lot of people in Georgia because the governor elected to not expand Medicaid to help with Obamacare. So this is something that should not happen in America, and our Georgia families should not be having to make those choices. With healthcare and with veterans, we see a lot of mental health issues that have not been treated, or trauma that has not been treated. And that ties straight into addiction. We have a huge opioid crisis because we have so many in chronic pain. And we need to be focusing on getting resources to these people so that they can get help. This is very personal to my family. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had someone in your family or someone that you know that's dealt with addiction, but it is an entire family problem. And it means a lot to me to be able to help people know what resources are available, connect them to it. And also, I asked my husband before entering, because it's his story, not mine, but I want to be able to help people and lift people, destigmatize asking for help and being honest about what you're going through so that you can get better. And we're one of the success stories. So I'm very grateful for that. But that's why this means so much to me personally. Our district has been hit very hard with COVID. It doesn't help that our current representation is spreading so much disinformation and lies, but it is a big part of our rural revival plan to continue to ask my neighbors to mask up, encourage them to get their vaccinations and their boosters. Like I said, I'm so grateful that my kids, there's 12 and 17 are the ages of mine, that they were able to get a vaccination. So we will keep that on the forefront so that we can get over this and get back to normal. Now let's talk for a short bit about our current representation. I know that it's probably not been an exciting change of events for you guys in Cobb, but we are very glad to have the help. And I can tell you, with your history of getting out the vote, of reaching out to folks, making sure they're registered, and helping us elect Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, and making history last year. You know, we not only sent those two senators, but flipped the Senate and flipped Georgia. So I know we can do it. I know you guys can do it. I need your help. But there are a lot of people of where I'm from that are sick to death of how we're being represented. There is not one person I've ever met in Georgia who treats people the way that she does. We have hardworking people who are good to each other, that have great values, and that's the representation that we need. We do not need, we've been in the news, not for our good people or our beautiful district, but for hate and rhetoric and divisiveness. And this isn't who we are. So that is why I entered. I'm leading my race. We talk a lot about empathy because I feel like if people can get involved, educate themselves, surely they would care what's happening. The gerrymandering, the voter suppression that's going on in Georgia. This is things that people would care about. So that's why we talk about empathy and doing the right thing. So let's talk about, how will I win? How am I going to do these great things in our rural revival plan that we've mapped out? With the help of our listening tour, I will say as well, the people of Northwest Georgia helped us write that plan for what we need here. So we will win because we've launched the biggest voter registration campaign that Northwest Georgia has ever seen. Stacey Abrams and Fair Fight have been doing this for years. That's what enabled us to send those two senators to DC. And that just hasn't come up to the top of Georgia yet. So we're doing it. We can't wait till after the primary to get this work done. This is going to lift all votes, okay? So from school board and city council, all the way up to Stacey Abrams. This is important work, and this is where I need you guys. You're experts at this. We've sent out We found so far, without COB yet, without the new data, over 12,000 unregistered likely Dems in our district. And we have mailed out just this past week thousands more of targeted voter registration packets. We've launched the first field program, and that's because we have to go chase down those people and make sure they get their packet and fill it out and get it back to us. That's how we're going to change the numbers to unseat March. So I want you guys to know down here in Cobb, we have the numbers. We have people who will help, but I really would be grateful for your help as well. So my team will be sitting out there in front of the Holly banner, and I'd love for you guys to come talk to us. Sign up for volunteering. We're going to do phone banks. We are doing phone banks to follow up with those voters to get their registration in. Now, when I entered this race, listen, guys, I'm just a regular working mom. I did not see this in my future years ago. But, so when I entered, especially with the extremist that I'm up against and her extremist followers, I was nervous for my family. You know, we had to make a plan to make sure if something comes up that my kids are safe. But since the day I announced, nearly a year ago, I've been overwhelmed with how much support we have from in district, from all of Georgia, from all over the nation, of regular people like me. And it's really heartwarming to see the women who go, wow, I could run for office. We should have representation that looks like us, that deal with our problems and know how to fix it. So we are not alone. We have people to help with us. I'm Northwest Georgia proud. I'm Holly McCormack, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any audience questions for Holly? Perul, do we have any online questions?
We do not.
We do not. Oh, we do have an audience question. Yes, ma'am.
Holly, you said that you have a business. What type of business do you have?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Repeat the question.
Ms. Willie Mae said, what type of business do I have? Yes. I help people plan for retirement and with their life insurance needs. So my nanny and papa actually lost their home, or nearly lost their home, and my papa died because they got ripped off for their whole retirement. He spent his entire life saving, was just a Mayfield milkman, and lost everything to a senior scammer 2 years before he died. So this means a lot to me. The service that I do with my clients, it really translates into running for office because it's about service and doing what's best for people. So yeah, that's what I do.